He sat alone upon the hill, the waves pulling at his side.
Hello and welcome to the Tree of Life podcast. My name is Jacob Todson, and this is
QB May.
Kubime. And one of us is basking in the beautiful solar radiation of my Northern Lights background, and the other one is still just in Glastonbury.
My laptop wouldn't load a video, is what happened.
um, yeah, I mean, I figured, I got the Yule sweater on because it's, Yule time, and what a perfect background for this. I don't normally do these cheesy backgrounds, though.
You look like the face of Christmas, Jacob. You really
I feel
do.
it. I feel it. Yeah, and my office is messy, so this helps.
Oh, perfect.
uh, but anyways, hello to our loyal listeners. We appreciate you tuning in once again. This time of year, we keep rotating around the sun together here in this little podcast journey we've been on. So full disclosure, Kubi and I have already caught up for like an hour beforehand. So sorry if yeah, we cheated on you, the viewers. But Kubi, how's everything going on your side of the planet?
It's good. Things are starting to feel a bit like Christmas. I love this time of year. It's just, I love all the festivities. And yeah, everything's just looking a bit cheery everywhere. There's lots of nice events. All the pubs are doing mulled wine. You know, what's not to love?
Yeah,
So,
mulled wine is really good. We can't really get that here in the States.
what?
Yeah, well, we can make it, of course. So, like, I made it the other night, but I don't know if it was actually very good.
Oh, I mean, yeah, you can't go too far wrong. It's basically for those viewers that don't know what mulled wine is, you basically put some red wine in a pan on simmer, chuck an orange in there, and some cinnamon and some cloves, and that's it. And then you bring it out before it starts boiling, and that's mulled wine.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
So
I
you
think
probably did it right. You can't go wrong with
I
it.
think it was when I was there. What was it when we went to go see Puck perform at St. Ben's? I think they had mulled wine, and that was my first time having it, and it was really nice.
Good. Yeah, so good. So yeah, it's great here. It's really, I mean, it's cold and wet, but apart from that, it's not as cold as it could be. I was in the allotment yesterday, so it's not too bad, but um much cooler where you are. You look like you're having a real Christmassy time in your
Well,
little
yeah, we actually got a lot of snow. So one of the things I've been really big on this year is I actually don't look at the weather forecast very often. And it because I love that it's a surprise when something happens.
yeah.
Um, Luckily, I live in a place that's really walkable, and so something about waking up and just waking up to snow without this like. I don't know, having the weatherman be like, it's going to snow in 6 days. And then the next day, it's going to snow in 4 days, and then all of a sudden it doesn't snow. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
So there's something magical to me about just waking up and there's 5 inches of snow outside. I'm like, oh, this is wonderful. I like the surprise of it.
Course. Yeah, yeah, exactly. And they always get it wrong, don't they? They like literally always get it wrong. What's the point of weather forecastment? That's what I would like to know.
Yeah, it's like the joke of the world is like they're always wrong. So why do they have a job?
Yeah. Yeah, like one job to do, guys. Just get the weather
Yeah,
right.
you have to go to school for that. Like they get educated in science, and
Oh, it's funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are the winter festivities in Glastonbury? Is there much for the winter solstice or Yule or anything like that?
Oh, we have a jamboree of mad events parading down the high street as always. So we have a carnival, which is like, how do you explain it? It's just like a lot, like 30 probably more of floats of like moving carnival-y parts, but it's really bright lights and people spend all year on this and they're like really cleverly engineered moving parts. So it's not just like a carnival float. It's like an amusement park, but walking down your high street with bright lights.
Yeah.
So that's always fun if you like burning out your retinas. And That kicks off the festivities in Glastonbury, and then we have the Frost Fair, which is, that declares it. And then it's time for Christmas, and you have the Christmas lights on and all these great like markets. And the Abbey has a medieval Christmas fair, which is really charming. And then, of course, we move into our solstice celebrations on the 21st. Um, which is normally just a little ceremony on the Tor, a chalice well, and the White Spring. Most people go to Stonehenge because it's the main
Oh
event.
yeah. But it's like much smaller. Like the summer solstice at Stonehenge is like the big one, right? And then the winter solstice, I imagine because it's colder, a lot of people don't come.
Yeah.
Or is it still pretty popular?
Yeah, it is. It's not as popular as the summer one, but it's the main one because it's that time of year where the sun aligns with the actual
With like,
monument.
yeah, with like the pillars, right?
Yeah.
Now, that's
Yeah.
the interesting thing about when we talk about ancient history versus now. The winter solstice was the most important one, from what you can tell, for the ancient peoples, right? Yeah. Why
Oh,
do you
yeah.
think that was?
Oh, I guess because when you've been descended into the darkness, the dark season, and the summer solstice marks really the return of the light, even though it doesn't really feel like it's returning at that point of the year. Technically, the sun starts to, make its way back, and the days start to get longer. And so it's the most optimistic time of year in that way. It would have brought people so much hope, for our ancestors. They would have been clinging on for this moment of, okay, we're halfway through the winter and things are going to get better from here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of like the main catalyst for our conversation today is this dichotomy between the winter solstice technically being the return of the sun, which is like, yay, it's going to get brighter out. But also, it's really the beginning of winter. Like, that's when
Yeah.
the darkness and the cold, well, I guess not the darkness, but the cold really sets in, which is quite fascinating
Yeah, it's
because,
quite a contradiction, isn't it?
yeah, it's almost like a false hope.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, the sun's coming back, but winter really just started.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think a lot of people struggle with that, don't they? Because, with things like, I mean, like you hear about seasonal affective disorder, and it's such a common thing. And, I think it's because people have that natural instinct to go into the cave and to hibernate at this time of year, but they're being forced out, and we're having
Yeah.
to carry on, and society doesn't acknowledge hibernation. So, yeah, it's that whole thing of like, you've got this false hope of, yeah, the sun is returning, the light is returning. But you can't, you got to get back out. You got to get back out, and it's cold and it's dark.
Now, here's an interesting. This is a complete aside. I'm throwing this out of nowhere. But I've been reflecting a lot, like books I've been reading. I've been talking a lot about the ecological problems we're having right now, as far as like eventually we're just going to start running out of resources. And like something I just thought of, what if one of the solutions of society is that we return to more of a hibernation-based culture? Because one of the reasons I think our resources are drying up so fast is because we're expected to go, 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 9 to 5 all the time. And so we're using resources all the time when our world, yes, we have the middle of the planet that doesn't have seasonal changes as much, and that's where we grow the food for this crazy culture we've created of always having to go and always having to have our fucking pineapples in the store. Otherwise, we lose our minds. But this is not sustainable. Like, what if, we created a culture where we understood that even in our, world with cars and planes, that the wintertime we hibernate and you store up your food for winter and you're not getting your pineapple, you're not getting your tomatoes. Like, if you don't have your canned tomatoes, you're done. You're not getting them.
Absolutely. I mean, what a good point. Jesus, what if this is the solution, Jacob? I think you've cracked it. This is the answer. You're a genius.
I mean, obviously, there's like these homesteaders that would listen to this and they're like, "Yeah, that's why I can my own tomatoes, dude." And I think that's why a lot of people are starting to return to that, as far as like growing their own food and procuring. But this is the way our ancestors 200 years ago had to live. They didn't have these mass-produced globalization that allowed us to have corn in the middle of winter. They had to prepare.
Yeah.
And I had a thought the other day. I don't know if I'd make it a full video, but I'll share it here. Is people have been complaining, obviously, about things getting more expensive. And typically it's things that we eat all the time, like eggs or milk or things like this. And in a way, I actually am not upset about it because I think by these things getting more expensive, people are going to start using them less, and being more conscientious of it. Like, yeah, a pineapple should be expensive in December.
What have you
Where
done
is it
against
coming from?
pineapples? You've made a lot of pineapple fans very angry today.
I don't, I would, it's always the target of my talks because it is crazy. Like pineapples used to be a symbol of wealth. Like back like 150 years ago, people would like have a pineapple, like, look at me, I'm wealthy because I
Like,
have a pineapple.
like turning up to dinner parties with a pineapple instead of a bottle of wine. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, that was like the symbol of hospitality was a pineapple because it showed you were wealthy and you could provide fruit for your desserts for your rich people, your rich friends. And so you do, damn it, pineapples are too cheap. I think a pineapple should be $100 to get it this time of year.
Well, yeah, no, it's a good point though, isn't it? Because we've lost that sense of value. We've become quite greedy and quite naive about how much things actually are worth. And I think you're right, it is going to re-highlight that. And that is going to bring us closer to how our ancestors were. So that's a good thing in some ways.
Yeah. And just like the mulled wine, I'm sure the mulled wine kind of came up from that as well. Like you think about like orange slices, like you can't have oranges year round, and so you have to find uses. Like you have these oranges delivered. It's like, oh, so we'll cut them up and put them in our wine, and things like that. And so a lot of our old recipes and our traditions from this time of year come from this dependence of like, hey, this is the last time that we're gonna have fresh food because it's winter. And so this is when we kill the last of the animals. This is when we use the last of our reserves as far as fresh food, and then we go to the canned food, the preserved food for the remainder of the winter.
Right. Okay. Yeah. You're not selling it entirely. I'm not such a fan of this canned food stuff, but but no, I do get your point, and it's interesting to think, isn't it? Like what a struggle it would have been at this time of year for our ancestors. And I suppose that's where all the Christmas traditions also come from as well, isn't it? Like
Yeah.
the huddling around the fire, like you said, the mulled spiced drinks to get you
Hmm.
through, and feasting together and things like that. And we've kind of replaced gathering around the fire, the bright lights of the fire, with fairy lights and Christmas
Hmm.
tree lights and stuff. But
Yeah.
the idea that our ancestors always would have brought in a tree for Christmas, to bring a bit of the outdoors indoors where
Yeah.
it could still enjoyed. We still do that today, which I think is it's so sweet that we still do that, even if people don't really understand quite why they have a Christmas tree in
Yeah.
their living room.
Yeah, well, it was. There's even accounts of the Romans doing that. The Romans would bring in evergreens to decorate during this time of year, even though
Yeah,
Italy is like nowhere near as cold as everywhere else.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's obviously something that was it was just an understood thing to do.
So, as we get started in this episode, we want to take a brief moment just to kind of tell you how to support Kubi and myself as creators and spiritual explorers, because we don't really have sponsorships. We don't have Raid Shadow Legends knocking on our door or anything like that. So, if you do want to support us here on the channel, and here's how. So, Kubi, how can people support you and your work?
Oh, well, Jacob. So
Well.
well, let me tell you. So I've recently just launched all of the events that I'm doing for next year. That's all up now on my Eventbrite. So if you're visiting England, you can come and join me and Edward. We do lots of folklore tours around Britain, around Glastonbury. And if you're not in Britain or visiting Britain, for those of you that are global audiences and those in America, I do offer a 2-year course in Druidry, exploring herbalism and the tree wisdom and the sacred and ritual and beautiful things like that. So I'm always taking students on each month for that. If you'd like to join that party and work with me, then please head to the link below, which is qbmaycraft.com.
If Jacob forgets. And then if as far as the druid staff says, you're correcting them this year. If someone wants to pick one of those up, how do they do that? Is it
Oh,
linked
yeah.
in there as
So
well?
my Etsy shop is currently empty, and it will be until about March. But from there onwards, the staffs and the wands will be fully stocked in there. So that's something to look forward to in spring.
As the link to your Etsy shop and on your website as well.
Yeah,
Okay,
everything's all there.
cool.
Yeah,
Very
yeah.
good.
What
Well,
about you?
So yeah, there's a few things. So obviously the most direct way, if you want to, as I have the a Yule story, is my winter book. It's more of like a children's book. It's like supposed to be warm, cozy, capturing the essence of Christmas stories. So if you haven't checked out that book before, it directly supports me as a creator, and it's a great thing to pick up for any young ones, but also for anyone really. It's just a cozy story. And then as I go into winter, I'm practicing these tattoos. I've done quite a few tattoos on people already. So if you are interested in coming to the Cincinnati area in Ohio, or if you live near here already, I am offering hand poke ceremonial tattoos for a really cheap cost because I'm still learning. But I think I've been doing some really good work, and I love learning, exploring, and exploring your ideas. And so if you want to connect with me, we can work on a ceremonial tattoo for you. And I'd love to do that for you. But finally, if you are interested, we still have some spots left for our Fellowship in Northern Traditions event that is happening in January. At this moment, we have a little over 75 people in attendance. So if you are interested in celebrating Yule with pagans and heathens alike in the Kentucky area, we have a really beautiful 1,000-acre lodge that we rent out this time of year, and we do some really big rituals and have really good food and has a huge hall. And seriously, this place can hold up to 200 people. It's crazy huge. And so if you want to celebrate Yule with your pagans brothers and sisters out there, we still have quite a few spots left. So feel free to sign up, and all that stuff will be down below. But with that, we'll get back to this episode talking about winter traditions, depression, survival, magic, and all that good stuff, and why I hate pineapples.
Oh my God, I love your hatred for pineapples on this episode.
I mean, because talking on to like depression during this time of the year, obviously depression's not something that's new to our culture. It might be different for us now, but the reality of it is, especially in England, the Northern European world, is you're only getting 8 hours of daylight a day at this time of year, and so that just directly affects your, like vitamin D and your ability to be happy.
Yeah, exactly. And so Christmas cheer is all the more important, really. And
Mm,
yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that I live where I do. We've got a good sense of community here as well. Like on Christmas Day, they normally do like a big town hall meal for the locals, like
yeah,
anybody that's like lonely as well. So that's nice. Anyone that does feel a bit down on Christmas, they've got company.
yeah.
Um, you've got the likes of Tim Raven there playing his harp while people queue up for their dinners and stuff.
Yeah.
That's nice. And I
I
do feel
want.
like it's like closer to the old ways, where the community take care of each other.
Yeah, Glastonbury is definitely a really interesting micro, like its own little bubble because of that sense of community where people on the high street know each other. It doesn't exist everywhere, particularly here in America. Like there's a little bit like, but I don't know, it's just not the same.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
it's hard to find, isn't it? It's really hard to find in the world.
yeah, and I do think I'm going on a lot of tangents today because I guess I've been thinking about a lot of stuff. In the sense of like pagans today are much more scattered.
Mm.
There you might be the only pagan in your town, or you might be one of two, and then you don't like the other one because they voted the wrong way or something like that. And so I find that pagans isolate themselves a lot, both because of the world that we live in now and their own personal taste. It can be really hard to find other people to huddle around, and so we tend to isolate. But something I found, and obviously you have to be a little bit under the shirt with it, is I don't necessarily see negative sides hanging out with Christians. Like my girlfriend's Catholic now. I'm going to mass with her on Sunday, and I get
Mm.
along grand with everyone. And I don't really give a fuck. I'm over here like Catholics are great because I just go up and be like, yeah, I was at the shaman retreat and banging my drum, and they're like, oh, okay. I just don't care. So I don't really, even though I might be the only pagan in my known area here, I really don't care. I just hang around anyone.
This is it. And also, I mean, you can find rituals in all of these things. Like the Catholics love a good ritual. They
Yeah.
love a good ritual. Did they do the orange in the Christingle thing where they used to, I don't know if they still do that. This is from way back in my childhood, but we used to go to this event at church where you have an orange and that you stick a candle in it and sweets on
Hmm.
sticks.
No,
And
yeah, I
it's
don't know that.
I don't know what that's got to do
It's
with
always
Jesus,
oranges.
but but I'm grateful for it. But it seemed to me like it was about, a time of about the light returning, the candle and the orange represented the world. I was like, well, that's quite pagan as far as rituals go.
Yeah.
The Christians have got their own little thing going on.
Yeah, I've softened up over the years. In all honesty, I think maybe it's because of growing up in Baptist. Like it's much harder to do this with Baptist and Protestant. Is typically they're a lot more fire and brimstone the moment they find out that you're not one of them. But honestly, most Catholics I run into don't care. Like
Yeah.
Catholics are so pagan. They have so many traditions that are directly rooted in pagan in origin. And yeah, I honestly I've gotten along with Catholics great recently.
Yeah, like the whole drinking of the blood, the walking on water.
Yeah,
It's very.
I half the time I'm at mass, I'm like looking at them like, what are you doing over there?
Yeah.
You think Jesus did that? No.
Oh my God, there should be a game. You should make it for Christmas for your girlfriend, right? Where you have flashcards where you go Catholic or Christian, no, Catholic or pagan, and it's
Yeah.
things like water baptism, and it's got like Druid or Catholic, and you have to choose. Drinking
Actually,
wine is blood, Druid or Catholic.
just the other day at work, someone was asking me because people this time of year get really religious, and they're like, when we pray for you and stuff like that. And they asked me like what church I go to, and I'm like, I'm more of a Druid.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because I feel like they could. I'm like, like the Irish Catholics. Well, there's the Druids, so I'm like more that
Oh,
way.
exactly. You'd be like, I'll be out in the churchyard by the yew trees.
Yeah, yeah. You guys do your thing in there. I'll be in the yew tree. Come to me with the mulled wine when you're done. Like,
Yeah.
and I, and reading the stories of the Druids and what survives of Merlin. Like I recently got done with a book of some of Merlin's stories, and it was really funny because Merlin's character really kind of infuses, I think, the last of the Druid sensibilities. At least how he was
Mm.
treated by society and also how he treated society. Like a story I was reading on the death of Merlin. It was really fascinating. I don't know where this survives. I need to look into it more, but I was reading it in this book called Storyland. And they was talking about how the death of Merlin, people like basically excommunicated him. They're like, "Oh yeah, this is this crazy old druid that lives in the woods."
Mhm.
And then he decided, like, someone goes out because they're like convinced, like, "Oh, I need to get Merlin, the last of the great wizards, baptized." And so they go out into the woods and they're like, "Merlin, you must be baptized before you die." And he's like, "Fine, fine, I'll go to the church and I'll take communion." And so he goes into the church and um, goes in and he takes communion and they're like, "Yes, we've saved the druid. We finally did it." And then he takes his robe off, goes naked, runs into the forest, and is just like, "This is where I belong." And they're all just like gobsmacked, like, "What?" Like, yeah, you're never gonna change the druid.
Union before.
It's like, I don't know. I need to figure out if this is a true story. If not, it totally makes sense for me. Of like the druids are like, "Oh Christ, whatever. Like we're just gonna go in the woods, you know."
Yeah. I love that. I really hope that's a true story.
Yeah, me too.
That's a great one. Yeah, I think yeah, it's you know what I find really interesting? Yeah, this story about like what is like obviously the druids became like the Merlin stories and things like that, and then also because of this time of year it's particularly interesting to look at Santa and who Santa actually became syncretized from. And there's
Mm,
all these stories around the world of like the Siberian shamans and how they would give gifts for Christmas.
yeah.
And these gifts just so happened to be red and white, and they were amanita mushrooms, and they grew
Mm,
under fir trees, which obviously are the things we bring into our homes as Christmas trees, the pine trees and stuff. So it's really interesting to see like these mad old men, in all the folklore and the traditions that are actually the wisdom keepers, and this idea that maybe you have to be on the edge of madness and insanity to be, this old, wise, shamanic character.
yeah.
There's an element of madness there. But I think in Christmas time, there's something about really honoring the mad old men, the mad old
Mm.
shamans. And we just call it Santa now, which is weird. But, like
Yeah.
even the story of the flying reindeer,
Mm.
you heard about this. I'm going to share. I've probably shared it before every
Oh, go
Christmas,
for
but
it.
it just blows my mind. So the Siberians used to drink the reindeer's
Oh,
piss
yeah.
because it would remove the toxins of the amanita mushrooms, and then they could just get the nice little high without poisoning themselves.
They just had
And
to
of
drink
course,
reindeer piss.
I just like a little tipple. It's Christmas. And but the idea that then of course they would hallucinate because of the amanita mushrooms, and they'd probably see reindeer flying and elves and things like that. And all of these Christmas traditions that have their roots in pagan shamanic traditions. I just think it's phenomenal that this isn't educated properly, like in
Mm.
schools, that children actually like. I mean, I suppose the danger is then you'd have children running into the
Drinking reindeer piss.
That's probably why they don't teach it. But it's a shame, isn't it, that the real roots of Christmas aren't explored, and it comes down to these central figures of the old shamans, these old men, the Mad Merlins and the Amanita shamans of the village.
Yeah. Well, to kind of return this into my alternative reality where we hibernate instead of, go, 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 this time of year, if you're a family, you're huddling together. Like you're coming together in your big house or your hall or in the land that you live on or whatever, the Ural you work under. Like everyone's together because this is how you survive. It's how you protect yourselves from the exterior threats. It's how you stay warm. It's how you consolidate food and resources. It just makes sense to be together. And so
Yeah.
you have a bunch of bored children running around. They are dead bored because they're stuck inside. They can't go outside. And so you give them to grandma and grandpa, and they tell stories to them around the fire. They give them wisdom. The wise old men, the crazy mad ones, they're sharing stories with them.
Hmm.
And so maybe the Santa Claus like figure is an echo of that generational, like constant generations of the elders taking care of the youth during the winter time.
And dosing them up on amanita
Just a
mushrooms.
little bit.
What do you do with bored children? You give them amanita.
Just a little reindeer piss.
In all seriousness, I think you're right. It does speak to that old, long time ago where families were huddled together, and it's funny that you said that because I did a little art therapy group in my local town last week. We did hibernation as the theme, and the thing that I drew for it was a family all curled up together, and this feeling of like a misplaced nostalgia for something that I don't have. This
Mm,
feeling of maybe all napping together in a little cave with lots of
yeah.
animal furs and just some low lighting and a fire. And it feels like a memory that's in the bones, like an old ancestral memory. And like I said, a misplaced nostalgia because that doesn't exist now. But
Yeah.
something in me craves that, like that time to go into the cave and be cuddled up with your tribe, your
Yeah.
people. So yeah, it's and that's where all the storytelling comes from as well, isn't it? It's that beautiful returning inwards.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And just something to kind of add on to that too. It's like I think that's where the stories of like the Wild Hunt come from as well. Like you had to tell these stories to the kids to get them not to go outside during this time of year because you have these bored kids running around and they want to go play outside. You go, ooh, it's slightly warmer out, but it's still dark. And so they'd play too long and all of a sudden they're stuck out at night. And so you needed to give them stories to be like, hey, if you get stuck out at night, there's going to be these riders that ride around and they could get you. And it could also explain missing children because I'm sure children went missing all the time during the winter time of like, oh, little Billy, he went out and he was grabbed by the wild hunt. And then you don't go out. And it also can explain to the kids why little Billy's dead.
God damn little Billy never listened.
Yeah, yeah, when you got snatched up.
Yeah, and also the tales of the Kaliak as well. If you think
Yeah, that
about
too, yeah.
that, this idea that you would see her washing her rags, and if you saw her doing that, it meant, death was coming to you and the frost was going to
Mm,
get you. And, she was sort of an honored character, but also feared, massively feared.
yeah.
You didn't want to see her. The whole point is that you're meant to be in the cave. Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, for sure. And then I definitely believe that these stories over time, as we become more globalized, industrialized, and all that stuff, is they've softened up like these figures that used to be these scary factors have been boiled down into like, oh, it's just Santa Claus. Oh, it's just the
It's like
elves and the reindeer.
it's all-
Yeah, look how cute it is. It's
this
so
is what it's
warm and
become.
cozy. Yeah, this is what it's become.
The golden
Um,
society.
yeah, and then we obviously still have remnants of that. You can see things like Krampusnacht, and you're like, here are these, here's Santa Claus and the reindeer, and over here we have Krampusnacht. Give him schnapps, or he's going to whip you.
Oh
He'll get
my
you whipped.
God. Oh my God, what a dodgy character. I always think it's kind of weird that children sit on the laps of Santa Claus, but that tops it by miles.
Yeah, yeah. Sit on Santa's lap or get whipped by Krampus.
Ah,
Choices.
better of two evils. Yeah. Oh,
Do you know about Perkta?
no.
Perkta. So this is another figure very similar to the Kaliak. It's an Alpine, like Switzerland, Austria region, very similar to Kaliak. It's a winter goddess of the mountains that walks on the mountaintops. And then she had a procession this time of year in the Alpine pagan cultures, where she also had like these kind of Krampus like goatmen that would like be with her during this time. I don't remember the exact details, but very interesting. It's like this combination of Krampus and Kaliak in the Alpine region, which was a Celtic region at one point.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
No, I've not heard of that. There's
Yeah,
a,
it's
sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, yeah, when I didn't know about it until I was doing research into for my video last year, which was like Germanic winter traditions, because there is a weird amount of Germanic winter traditions that have survived in the German region.
Yeah. Do you think they've survived more out of necessity?
I think so too. Just like I was saying, like just because they became Christian didn't mean that children didn't go disappearing in winter. And so these figures that may have been positive, may have not been, were turned into more demonic figures to be like, oh, if you go out, Krampus is going to get you. You
Oh
know?
God, terrifying, isn't it? Really
Yeah.
terrifying stuff. Yeah, yeah. That's there's also the although not so terrifying at all, but just the goddess Artio, which an art Artio means bear
Yeah.
in Proto-Celtic, I think. And her thing, you seen that Switzerland? There's a statue of her with a bear that
Oh
they
yeah.
found from that Celtic region of Switzerland, and I imagine she was probably a goddess of the winter, but more of a
Mm.
nice invitation. Because if you think about what the bears represent, they're both fierce and ferocious, terrifying things if you come across one, but then they're also these lovely, cuddly things that go into the cave and hibernate.
Yeah.
And so we don't know much about Artios and what she represented and what the bear actually was a metaphor for. But I like to think it probably was an invitation to go into hibernation and
Mm.
return to the cave as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Just to kind of keep it on theme a little bit here, let's pull into us now as far as like the darkness and what this means and the cold. Because I know that was one of the main topics here. Have you ever struggled with like the depression that comes with this time of year?
Oh my gosh, yeah, totally. Like most of my teen years and my early 20s, I really struggled with SAD. I used to have to get one of those, those giant light boxes,
Oh yeah.
the old ones. Like now you can get these little compact things. But I just like, yeah, when I was living with my parents, I remember I had a big one of those. Like I think you rent them or something.
Oh
But
wow.
I really struggled with it, and I used to try and take melatonin and try and get all my levels up. And I eventually realized that I was kind of resisting winter, and that was the problem. Is like I was resisting what was just going to happen, what was natural. I would sort of kind of wince every time the season changed. I'd be like, oh, filled with dread, and I slowly just learnt that I had to change and adapt and become more sort of in sync with the seasons. So as winter came knocking on the door, I would then, instead of being like, oh God, it's here, I would go, okay, now it's the time to sit down and do more poetry or more
Mm.
kind of cozy crafts, we call them cozy crafts. I mean, more time with friends around fires, and these are things that you can look forward to instead.
Yeah.
So, and that's really helped. Like since I've stopped resisting winter, I actually look forward to it, and I embrace it with open arms now. Um, there's certain projects and little hobbies and things that I will reserve exclusively for the winter months, and so it's something to look forward to all year.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's a big deal. Again, living seasonally is having those things you look forward to in winter.
Yeah.
And I think that, we have many more options these days. And I think the dominant options obviously is catch up on TV shows. And that's something like, my partner and I were doing is, we have like have you ever watched Lost?
Oh
Like the,
God.
yeah,
Yeah,
such a good
yeah.
show. And she had never seen it before. And so we've been watching Lost. And it's great because this is back when a series were 24 episodes long. So nowadays it's like seasons are 8 episodes and they're like half an hour each. It's crazy. And so it's been a great show to watch because we watch, it gets dark earlier. We watch 2, 3 episodes. And so I think I'm going to look forward to that. Like, every winter, us choosing a show or two, to kind of get through that or long or things like that. And saving the summertime for outdoor activities. Like you're going to be outside more. You're not in the house watching shows as much. And so, whether you're a gamer like me and you have that single player game you wanted to play, you can be like, oh, I can finally look forward to it. But I think if we do that, like you said, you have to kind of reserve this time of year for that. And so the summertime, saying like, I don't really play video games. I don't really watch shows in the summer because this is the time to get stuff done. I save that for winter so you can look forward to it and be like, oh, it's finally winter time. I can cozy up, watch a show, play a game. And then you look forward to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. And even you can do it with food as well. Like
Mm,
there's certain things that you won't have, like in the summer months, like hot chocolate and like pumpkin spice lattes and mince pies and
yeah.
like pig in blankets. We have them. I don't know if you have that in America. It's like a sausage with bacon wrapped around
Yeah.
it, like
Yeah.
bacon and
Yeah.
bacon. You roll bacon and more bacon.
Yeah. Yeah.
But things like that, they're simple little delights, but they're things that you can pinpoint as things you can look forward to. And yeah, no, I like it. And especially things like having fires indoors, like little log burners and getting
Yeah.
cozy. It's so delightful. But I think, it does, obviously, there are the natural serotonin dip that does still
Yeah.
happen that's
Yeah,
unavoidable.
it's unavoidable. And our ancestors, nowadays we can take like vitamin D supplements if you really want to, or you can get the light boxes. They didn't have that, and in fact, they had it worse because oftentimes their houses didn't have windows
Yeah, yeah,
to
exactly.
to retain the heat, and so they were in darkness for longer.
Yeah, but I suppose on the other side of that is that they would have understood that there was no work to be done. They would have actually
Yeah,
been enabled to have a hibernation period because like I've closed off the allotment for the year now. That's the work done. It's a
yeah,
wrap. And that would have been the same for our Celtic ancestors. They would have come off the fields by now. They wouldn't have any other jobs left to do apart from just survive the winter.
hmm
So it would just be like they could actually hibernate like the rest of nature, like the rest of the animals do. And
yeah,
in many ways, I think we have it worse because we're forced into a society that won't go into hibernation. We're forced to
yeah,
keep the wheel going, even though our bodies are naturally slowing down, like because of lack of serotonin. We're actually going against our own natural
hmm
hormonal brain.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
It's
I was going to say, do you ever suffer with any of that? Do you get low in winter yourself, or?
Yeah, I'm pretty good because I mean I love Christmas, I love Yule, I love this time of year, so that tends to get me through the first chunk, especially like the first dark period. Is I get to decorate the tree, I get to watch Christmas movies, I get to put my Yule sweater on, so I get a nice little energy boost actually at the very beginning. But like we said, the moment the solstice hits and the moment the holidays dry up and the January darkness comes in and the cold, is that tends to be my first struggle point of I don't have that thing anymore to kind of look forward to, and it's to like just get through January and February,
Yeah.
and that tends to become more of a struggle for me. And I find personally that around February I'm like over winter.
Yeah,
uh,
you're
because
done.
January, usually we get our good snows in January around here, and so like I usually have that to look forward to, like, oh, the first true snow, and a little blizzard, and so there that comes like a sense of love. But then
Yeah.
February and March tend to just be rain and cold and dark and gray, and that's usually where I'm like, I'm just done. Give me the sun back.
Cooked.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And I do think that's why they put Valentine's in there because, like, is that another thing that
Just
just
see
trying
us
to keep
through.
us going, just to get us through, like
Yeah.
something like that,
No,
maybe.
that's just to get us to buy more stuff. They're like, all right, they've had a month off from buying stuff for Christmas. Now it's time to buy stuff for Valentine's Day.
Get back turning the consumerist
Yeah,
wheel.
exactly. Yeah, I think there's always got to be that next holiday to sell.
Yeah, it's so true, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I mean, one thing I do think, and I reflect on this, is do you think that we have a better relationship to the seasons because of our pagan interests? Because we have these little rituals and things like Yule and the winter solstice,
Yeah.
and because we're in sync with the seasons, very much being a pagan means to celebrate the seasons and the wheel as it turns. So
Hmm.
we're not out of rhythm with it.
Yeah.
We're still part of nature. So for
Yeah.
those people that aren't pagan, do you think that they actually struggle more?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, just like we were talking about beforehand, like you and I were just having a catch up and we're sharing, like just updates in our lives. And like even, you and I, we're not talking small talk. We're not like, how's work? We did not talk about work. We literally were not like, how's work going? Which is what most people talk about. How's work? How's the family? Blah, blah, blah. We were like, delve into your problems. What's going on with you emotionally and spiritually? How's it going? Like we're diving deep.
Yeah, we don't.
Yeah.
There's no small talk in this
Yeah,
friendship.
I'm over here like, yeah, I was reading my book on depth psychology and my subpersonalities, and my subpersonality A was telling me subpersonality B to do this. And it's like, to me, and that's not inherently a pagan thing, but it's for people that are on the self-development, healing, spiritual exploration journey, you're given a lot more language and a lot more tools to discuss your feelings, how you're doing, your spirit, your health. And
Yeah.
so, and we were saying, like, talking about feeling like goop, like being in that goop stage
Yeah.
of life where, things haven't quite formed yet. You're still putting together, alchemizing things. And winter is the goop time.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so,
I feel like those mushy leaves that you get this time of year.
yeah. Yeah.
I'm
You
there.
become, yeah, you become mushy leaves. That's what happens. And I find that if you don't have the language, tools, techniques in order to re-energize your goop,
Hmm.
that's when there's becomes a problem because the seasons keep going. We will always enter the goop stage, and that happens within our personal lives too. Things fall apart and things come back together. And you can either fight those and be like, I wish it was summer. I wish I wasn't goop. Or you can embrace it and be like, the goop.
Yeah.
And that's two very different ways to live. And I think paganism, the old ways, the old traditions, accept that we will become goop, and it helps
Yeah.
and it provides you the tools, techniques, and what to do when you are the goop to both embrace it, love it, and get the most out of it.
Yeah. Like we're like goop, but decorated in fairy lights. Like,
Yeah. um like one of the books I read is it was talking about like the different stages of life, and at the very end it was like, this is the best stage you'll ever have. And no matter what you are, where you are in life, this is going to be the best stage you're ever in. So enjoy it. The
yeah.
goop winter has good things. It's great to cozy up. It's great to just relax. And you can either fight that and be like, no, I want to be outside doing things in the sun. I want to be go, 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 go. But if you live like that, you're going to be unhappy in winter. It's
Exactly.
better to
It's so
embrace it.
true. And you know what one of my favorite things is about winter is the permission to not be sociable or as
Mm.
sociable. Like people don't expect this of me because I do an awful lot of talking, but I'm definitely a 50-50 split extrovert and introvert. And I like a lot of
It's
time in
probably
my
why we
own
get along.
world. Yeah, exactly. And I really love it when people, they don't mind if you don't get in contact with them for a few months through the winter. There's not this question of like, why aren't you out playing? It's an expected thing that people are going to be quieter and they're going to be a bit more insular. And great, takes the pressure off, takes the guilt right off. There's no FOMO, is there, in winter?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's kind of a time where you can just be like, I'm reading a book actually, and I'm all
Yeah.
right.
It's I wonder if my normal people job sometimes is tired of my shit. Because again, I think, me going into this normal, just working in a restaurant again during the holidays is like most people just have to push through. It's like, oh, I just got to get through this day. But I'm over here like, no, this is like the holidays are busy at restaurants. Lots of parties, lots of people coming together, celebrating, and it's a lot of work. And the other day, I went up to the manager. I'm like, you know what I need to do instead of working tonight? I need to go to a sauna and I need to sit in a sauna because that'll be good for my soul. And they kind of looked at me like they've never been requested this before. Like that, usually people make something up because they want to go drink or whatever. I'm like, no, for my soul, I need to sit in a warm sauna for an hour and sweat.
Yeah.
Because I know this time of year I need to slow down and have that moment, even though it's go, go, go at work right now.
Oh, that's a great suggestion of a winter thing to do, isn't it? Because it's
Yeah,
they can be, I mean, more so sweat lodges. So we got invited to a sweat lodge that's happening in mid-December somewhere.
do it.
And I'm so excited because first of all, warmth. Warmth, right? Put me in a tent of warmth for an hour, fine, absolutely. But also, it's that sweat lodges, they're like a really intense. If anyone's not gone to them, they're different, and same with Temazcal because there's an invitation to die and be reborn within this
Mm,
hour that you get pushed up into your limits where the heat is so intense and you've got an intention and a prayer and you throw it into the fire, and the idea is if you can withhold that fire and that heat, then you can move through that, you can transform yourself on some level or let a part of you die off in that tent. And winter is such a good time for letting parts of yourself die,
mm, mm.
for letting things that just like this is burdensome or this
Yeah.
part is exhausting for me to carry. And you can't avoid it in winter. It becomes really clear if something isn't working or something's too
Mm,
tired because you haven't got the energy to deal with
yeah.
it anymore. And so I think that's really good advice. Going to a sauna or a temazcal or a sweat lodge or sweat house and sort of meeting those parts of you that
Yeah.
do need shedding. Yeah, winter is the time for that.
Yeah, it's. I tell people all the time. I'm like I said, even with the Catholics, I'm pretty open. Like I kid you not, I was talking to a Catholic the other day, and I was like, "Yeah, back when I did ayahuasca, like, they
Did
just
they?
sit there and take it. They love it." uh, and we were talking about it, and I was like, of all the crazy stuff I've done, praying on the side of a mountain, fasting for 3 days, ayahuasca, mushrooms, sweat lodges, everything. I was like, if one person is like, "Hey, what's one thing I can do that'll help?" Honestly, finding a good sweat lodge, properly run, is amazing. Um, Plant medicine or not, honestly, a sweat is just so clearing.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it just de-ice you if nothing else. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, like, I did a whole video on Finland and the sauna spirits and their relation to sauna. And it's one of the reasons they rate themselves as one of the happiest countries on the earth, despite it being cold and dark there, is that they have this really close spiritual relationship to sauna.
Right, exactly. So they're constantly clearing and purging
Mm.
and on top of themselves.
Yeah. Like to a Finn, a perfect life is to be born and to die in a sauna. Like no joke. Like they
Oh
try to, like, traditionally give birth in saunas, and they also traditionally try to die in a
my God.
sauna.
Seriously, giving birth in a sauna would be
Yeah,
insane. Oh my God. Hot tub maybe, but not the sauna.
yeah, yeah. That to the Finns, the sauna is their temple in traditional
Woo,
sense.
they are hardcore, aren't they?
Yeah,
Imagine dying in a yeah, yeah.
yeah. There was a whole thing, like, what was it? One of the stories I was reading was like, it was during like World War I or World War II. Like the Finns like sent some soldiers. Like they obviously don't have a huge population, but they sent some soldiers to fight in some war. And like the first thing these soldiers did when they got to the front is build themselves a sauna. Like
Right.
it's like the first thing they do. They're like, "Oh, welcome to this new land. We must build a sauna."
Like
Like immediately.
before dinner is even sorted out, before the pig is even got, it's like, let's sort the sauna.
Yeah, and that just shows you how important it is. Like here you have like some of the most northern living people in the world. How do they survive winter? How do they survive the cold? They go to sauna.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And perhaps that does tie in with all the shamanic stuff, like we were saying
Yeah.
before about the Amanita shamans and things like that. Maybe they'd have done it in the sauna. Like, whoo.
Mm.
I was going to ask you, other than sauna time, what are your
Sauna time.
plans? Sauna time! What are your plans for December the 21st this year? Have you got anything that you're planning on doing for Yule or?
So funny enough, my anniversary with my girlfriend is on the solstice, which is interesting.
We
Our
have the
first date
same
was on.
thing, don't we? You, me, Edward, and your partner have the same. Somehow that happened.
Oh, really? We both like linked
Wait.
up with them on the solstice. So
Yeah,
weird.
December the
Yeah.
21st.
Yeah.
Oh, very sweet, isn't it? Easy to remember anniversaries then.
Right, yeah, great. So yeah, we're our anniversary's then, so we're gonna go out and do something. But actually, my plan is I'm going to have the person I'm studying tattoo under, I think, is going to do a tattoo for me on that day.
Ooh, and
Um,
are you going to reveal what it is?
yeah, so yeah, it's going to be a tattoo for the boar spirit.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be the boar dancers because there is actually like a symbol from the boar dancers. um from the Norse, or if I'm just going to do like a Pictish boar. I think I'm going to kind of give it to him. I'm going to be like, hey, I want something for the boar spirit because I find the boar to be a protective spirit for me. So I'm going to let him do that tattoo. I think he's going to do it hand poke as well. So that's kind of my plan because I know this next year, really the winter for me is going to be studying and practicing. Like I
Yeah.
already, oh my gosh, have I shown you my pile of drawings? It's crazy.
I could, no, you haven't. Off he scurries. He's gone to the woods, folks. He's not
Oh yeah,
actually.
I've been saving them because these are going to be my Yule. This is my Yule offering. Oh gosh, it doesn't like pop up because of the. Oh, this is the
Oh,
failure of the background. Let me turn it off.
no, you're going to have to do the great reveal of your actual abode.
I know. There we go. Okay. Here's my messy office. Anyways, so look at all these. These are all my practice
Whoa.
drawings for tattoos. So I've been saving all of them so that I can offer them to my creative spirit, my muse, at Yule. So there's one of my green men.
Oh, wow. I love that.
Yeah, so this is my pagan symbol practices and things like that. And then I draw lots of lines. So yeah, I've just been doing a lot of. You can see some of my rage come out as I was practicing mandalas. Nope,
Is that saying nope?
nope. And then I actually like, one of my favorite ones here, so much, is like my Pictish animals I was practicing.
Oh, so these are the ones that you were exploring when you were up in Scotland, right?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I've been saving all of my practice sheets to offer because I've been drawing. It's been incredible, honestly. Like the last time I was in on Monday, I drew for 5 hours straight.
Yeah.
Um, and I've just been really loving this deep dive into my creative spirit again. So yeah, it's my winter plans really is to really dive into practice, connecting to my creative muse, to the spirit of inspiration, and yeah, really diving deep into tattooing.
Oh, that's so cool. So cool. And that's what I would call a cozy craft. It's a perfect example. It's the sort of thing you can do around a fire. Do you know what I mean? It's got
Yeah, it's
that
working with your hands.
yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Um, and I think that's such a big thing. I think we've talked about on the podcast before is the blue zones, where people live above the age of 100 on average. And one of the big things they attribute to their long life is working with their hands. There's
Interesting.
something connected to doing physical things with your hands that keep you living longer.
Isn't that interesting? I wonder if it's the sort of meditative because whenever I do crafts with my hands, like sculpture, I go very, very meditative, and I go
Hmm.
very into the present moment, and
Yeah.
it feels like a very like energetic and life-giving place.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something about that.
I mean, there's something totally about the giving, receiving, give and receive. We have that imagery everywhere around the world. It's the idea of one hand giving, one hand taking, or even, karunos is, the oath ring and the snake. There's something about the hands that really lend to life. One of my favorite terms in Old Norse is Maiden Lifum, which is healing hands.
Well, that's a lovely little. It rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Maiden Lifum. Yeah.
Leafom. Yeah, and I often think the hands are the extensions of the gods because it's
Mm.
if they made us through this idea of creativity, like the creation literally that brought us to this life itself, then as extensions of the gods, perhaps we are here to keep creating, to be an extension of them. And our hands are that beginning place where it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And so, yeah, to kind of pull this all together, I think, as far as we're offering straight advice for people struggling with depression this time of year and the winter blues and SAD and whatever, is, yeah, working with your hands. Find something for your hands to do this time of year that isn't click-clacking on a keyboard.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
This is not a good
Oh,
winter activity.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. No, it's so, so true. I think for the
Um,
winter solstice, we're going to do a similar thing. We're going to go. I would like to go to Stonehenge for the winter
yeah,
solstice,
that'd
actually,
be
because
good.
we have Rollo, the archdruid, sometimes comes to visit us for a little poetry reading that we do with Pop the Bard. It's one of my favourite things. Everyone just nestled here in the living room.
Have you done
Uh,
it since I was there?
yeah,
Oh,
we've
yeah.
got a few chapters. We're almost at the end of Pock's great book. Um, but Rollo is the archdruid that goes and does the ceremony at the winter solstice there, and so I'd quite like to go and see that and to visit West Kennet Longbarrow. It's one of my favourite
Mm,
places to go. Now I love it. I've only been there once before, but now I really want to go there all the time. And I think that is basically where me and Edward sort of started our relationship. It was that day and we went in there and it was all candle lit and there was an altar at the back and it almost felt like we went in there to get a blessing from the ancestors for our relationship.
yeah,
There's something about it that felt like here's the beginning point. So I think it'd be really lovely, quite romantic to go back there, but
yeah,
we'll see. I'm not sure what the plan is.
yeah. Good. So what's
Yeah.
your craft of the year?
Craft of the year is going to be my druid staffs. I don't know if I've shown people this before, but
Is this your plug for the day?
this is I haven't made them just yet, but I make druid staffs and pagan staffs like this. Ooh, they're quite
Nice,
cool.
yeah.
And I
How do you
make,
wrap the metal on it?
it's actually wood and then clay sculpted, and then the
Oh,
little bits of detail and like little metal bits and crystals and moss on the back. So I make these and I make wands as well. So I need to, at this time of year, my Etsy shop starts to look a bit sparse. So winter is like all about crafting that, getting that stocked back up for the new year. And it's perfect because it just puts me straight into this like zone. It's like
yeah.
I always say it's the nearest I feel to the gods is when I'm creating those. So
Mm,
it's something about that.
that's interesting. Really fascinating thing as well is the slow time of year for tattooing is winter. And the busy time is summer. So it's weird, even though it's a craft on someone's body, it's still more of a thing that you sell in the summer. And so it's almost like, yeah, you have to naturally hibernate and practice your craft and get better at it, and then you bring it forth again in the summer.
Exactly, exactly. So yeah, it's a little bit of that, and yeah, and I suppose just enjoying the general Christmas frivolities. It is nice, isn't it? That real winter hits, the real winter. I think of real winter as January, February, like we were saying.
Yeah, yeah.
But
Yeah,
now it's
February is
like
rough. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about gathering with friends as well for me this time of year. I'll be doing a lot of that around the fires and just getting cozy. And we've bought some goofy board games for our friends. So we hope to go and find a log burner in the pub.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, that's also, another big thing, I talk about all the time, which hygge is like the Danish coziness concept. I mean, so much of what we're talking about is wrapped up in hygge. And when you think about like when I think about countries that do really well during the winter, it's usually the Scandinavian countries. And obviously this is where hygge comes from. Is you cozy up, you light some candles, you played some board games, you drink warm drinks, you work on your crafts, and you hibernate. And everyone else doesn't exist. Your friends and your family, that is it. That's all that matters this time of year.
It's so true, isn't it? It's just the basic things, like to take anything that feels like pressure or hard work off your shoulders
It's like,
and
no,
just do the nourishing things, the things that
yeah.
feed the soul.
Yeah, and I would say, yeah, I think one of the biggest things, and this is like the self-help world, like outside the spiritual realm, like one of the big things the self-help people tell you these days is learning to say no to things. And
Yeah.
I think winter is a great time to say no to new opportunities. Like something comes up and you're like, nah.
Nope. Do you know what? Nope.
Summer is the time that random thing pops up. It's like, you want to do this? You're like, hell yeah, let's do it. It pops
Yeah,
up in
yeah.
winter. You're like, nah, can't be bothered.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't think we should shame each other for that. This is the time you invite your friends, you go to the pub, you play a board game, you have fun. It's not the time you're like, you want to start a business? Oh, this new opportunity for you.
Shall we walk the length of the British Isles? No. No. And you
Yeah,
eat
well,
the
and what I think this is a good piece of advice for everyone too. It's something I've been doing is if I have a new idea, I write it down and I save it for later.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
don't
such
enact
a good
on it.
idea. Yeah. Because the
I think
summer
we
will give you the energy to act on it. But
Yeah, I think this is something we talked about last year with New Year's resolutions. Like, don't do them now. Write down your ideas for New Year's resolutions and enact them in the spring when the summer is like the actual energy of the world's behind you.
yeah, so true. Yeah, that's it. Good advice. Good advice.
I actually had an idea. I shot to a friend that is in the UK that I want to walk from Glasgow to the Isle of Skye.
Wow.
Yeah. And do like a grand adventure with it. But it was funny because I was like specifically in the message, like, this is not something we do tomorrow. It's not something we do next month. It might not even be next year. I was like, I just had an idea and I want to make it happen. What do you think? You know?
That would be good, wouldn't it? What an adventure that would be.
Yeah, it's life is grand, isn't it? I love it.
Yeah, yeah. It's nice to dream up all of these things and to know that you can execute them at different points.
Well, you even referred to January as like the dream month, right? The time of
Yeah.
dreams.
Yeah, I think of it as the dream time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But I suppose we'll cover all of that next month.
The next month.
Leave
Yeah.
some meat on the bone.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, what's to kind of wrap up this video, this podcast, is there any final thing you would like to share with someone, our listeners, on what they should do this time of year? Or do you think you've covered everything?
I think I've covered pretty much everything, but sort of in terms of connecting with, the pagan stuff, I would say to bring as much evergreen indoors as you can.
Hmm.
And to maybe look to some of the deities like Artio, the bear goddess, and see if you can adopt that slowing down. If you place her on your altar and see what happens when you take on board that mentality.
For a second, I thought you said hair. Like, place some hair on your altar. I was
Wow, yeah.
like some bear fur. I mean, bear fur would be great.
Yeah, and just to light candles as well. I think candles can really bring a feeling of the sacred into the home, and
Mm,
it's like bringing the sun and the sun god into the home. And
yeah,
that is really important this time of year.
yeah. I think I used that in the last video I made about winter. Is it's the time to take the fire of the sun into the home, and that's
Yeah,
how you survive.
yeah, perfect summary of it already, isn't it? Just that.
Yeah, and I think that again, that's when talking about the pagan relations and things, is if you don't have that understanding of how winter works, is if you need to capture that sun and bring it in, and you just think the day is this exactly the same as it should be in the summer. That's, I think, when people struggle. It's like, no,
Yeah.
this is the time you got, like, what, you don't capture the sun and bring it to the home? What's wrong with you? Like, how do you survive?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And you don't need a log burner to do that. That can just literally be sitting around candles. It's the same energy. It brings the same spirit in. That's what I'm doing this year because I don't have a log burner inside.
Something I actually enjoy doing is, weirdly enough, is I turn the heat off in the night. And so, like, obviously, I'll keep it nice and toasty here as I go to bed, but then I shut the thermostat off and I let it get cold again in the morning, because that's more like having a fire, So that way it's cold in the morning. I got to go, I'll knock the heat back on. It gradually gets warmer. I got my cozy clothes on and shed it throughout the day. So it gives me
Yeah.
more of a, because I really don't like constant temperature. I'm weird like that. Like, I don't like it being the same temperature all day because I feel like it doesn't allow me to adjust when I do go outside.
Yeah.
I need that actual time of feeling cold to understand it's winter.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's like your body's way of sort of knowing where it is in that seasonal wheel, isn't it?
Yeah, like it's not natural for us to be constantly living in the same temperature. It's not
Yeah.
normal.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I could agree with that. I do take a hot water bottle to bed, even when the heating is off, but that's part of the snuggliness of winter, I
Well,
think.
that's why I got a wiener dog. That thing is like a heater. Oh my gosh. Like, yeah, it's so cute. He like burrows in the middle of us and then he just radiates warmth.
Oh, it's the best.
And so yeah, we kind of like we like argue like who gets him at night, because he just keeps you warm.
They're so good for that, aren't they? Oh, sweet thing.
Um, yeah, I think the last thing I want to leave people with, and I might make a larger video on this, of something I've been reflecting on, is like spiritual protection. Again, we joke about, the wild hunts to keep a little Billy from dying at night, but I think this time of year is, I don't want to say evil, more evil presences, but obviously it's the time of year that the positive energies have retreated. The sun's retreated, life from plants, the sap has gone down into the earth, and we want to protect our homes. But one of the things is the darker presences do have more of a presence out there. The Kalayak does walk the earth. The wild hunt does ride. The darker forces do have more control of the earth during this time of year. And so being a little bit more cautious about trampsing in the woods at night, carry some bells on you, have a bell around you, have a bell on your pocket. This is something I always have on me, is like some kind of dingly bit, especially if I'm out and about. Actually, just the other day, I went up to the shop with a string of bells on me.
Oh, I love it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because like these sound of bells, there's a practical sense. Like, one of the ways to keep away predators is to make sure they know you're there, is to make sure they know that you're human and you're loud and annoying. And so having a drum, having bells when you're out in the nature actually is a way to protect yourself as well.
Of course. Yeah, yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And I do think there's something to scaring the evil spirits, like in the shamanic traditions, having eyes on your headdresses or having dangly bits so that the evil spirits are scared of you. Like, you don't want the evil spirits to think that you're like this innocent, little cub. You want to be the fierce bear to the evil spirits. And so how do you
Yeah.
make yourself seem fierce during this time of year to keep those evil spirits at bay?
Right. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I love that. It's good. Some good shamanic advice there.
Yeah, like they want your warm, cozy fire too, but you don't want them there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Stay away
yeah.
from my hot chocolate, evil spirit.
I need to come earthside for this. Yeah.
All right. Well, I think that's about it. That's a good episode, though. Good chat. Good talking to you, QB.
Yeah, good to chat.
And I wish everyone the best this winter time. May you be safe, cozy, and warm, and work with those healing hands.